The last item on our site plan is to change the site's theme. Rarely do you want to go live with the Drupal site using the stock Bartik theme, which is what this theme is called. So let's take a look at contributed Drupal themes. You can of course always create a Drupal theme yourself. That's slightly more advanced than we're going to get in this tutorial. It's still not very difficult though, so don't be afraid to explore that method once you get familiar with Drupal. At Drupal.org, we're going to go to Download and Extend. And in these tabs, we're going to click on Themes. Right now we have 2,000 or a little over 2,000 themes that we can browse. That's quite a bit. Let's set our core compatibility to 8.x, so we're only getting Drupal themes that are compatible with Drupal 8. And click Search. And that whittles things down quite a bit. We can scroll and browse through these, and a lot of these are what we call base themes, which aren't meant to provide a fully fleshed out look, but rather to provide a framework for you to build your own sub-theme on. So if you're not experienced with CSS or you don't know how to make a sub-theme and you don't feel like learning that right now, you'll want to stick with standalone themes. Notice Bootstrap, for instance, refers to itself as a base theme. So install the Bootstrap theme on your site. This is a great base theme, but you're not going to want to use it just by itself because your site is going to look pretty bland. So we're going to want a standalone theme. Let's scroll down a bit and find one that currently works pretty well. Another quick disclaimer, since as of this recording, Drupal 8 is still brand new, some of these themes might not act exactly the way you expect. As Drupal 8 becomes more fleshed out, they will as well. So you may have to do some tweaking here and there with some of these in the early days of Drupal 8. For now, let's go with the Paxton theme. We can click on that and get some more information if we want. Whatever the green version is for you, go ahead and download whichever file you need for your site. It all just depends on what your operating system works on. And then go ahead and download and install that, and we'll take a look at it together. So once you've downloaded and installed the Paxton theme, we're going to click on Appearance and scroll all the way down. And we will install and set as default. If we just click install, that basically just enables it, but it doesn't make it active. Setting it default means that it's the active theme. So we'll do both of those at once. Another quick note here, if you're having trouble getting this to work, if it gives you an error message and says that it couldn't make it the default theme or it couldn't install it, that is another small problem that some Drupal 8 sites are having currently. For me, most of the time, if I just click on install and set as default again, it usually works the second time for whatever reason. So give that a shot if you're having trouble with it. Now let's go back to the site and see how things look. So we can see that the theme is installed, but our site looks a little bit weird, especially in this top part of the page. If we scroll down a little bit, things start looking a little bit better. We have a nice image here and kind of a little slideshow. And in our main part of the page, this looks really pretty good. Our blocks look nice. We have the styling we want. But we're going to want to do something here. So first off, we had this sort of splash image of our own. That's kind of redundant now since this theme comes with its own image. So let's get rid of that. Also, notice our blocks are a little bit weird. We have Powered by Drupal up here at the top. We have our account login up here at the top. So we're going to want to play with that a bit. Different themes handle block regions differently, so it's very common when you switch from one theme to another, even if you're going from a stock Drupal theme to a contributed theme, that the block placement is going to go a little bit awry, and you're almost always going to have to play around with that a bit. So let's go to Structure. And as you can probably guess, we'll take a look at our block layout. And we'll see that up here in the header, we have a ton of blocks that we don't necessarily want in the header per se. So this front page splash image of our fretboard, let's say we just want to get rid of that one for now. So we'll click None in region. And Powered by Drupal, we don't want that at the very top of our website. So why don't we put it at footer bottom? I don't know what's going on with the strange spelling of footer right here and here, but that's fine. And then our footer menu is currently in the header. We probably want to put that in the footer menu region. Site branding, we'll keep up here in the header. That's something that does belong at the top of the website. User account menu, we can set that to none, or if you're afraid of losing that menu and you're afraid you won't remember how to log in, you can put it in footer bottom if you want. I'm going to set mine to none. The way you log in on a Drupal site, if you don't have access to the login menu, is you simply go to your domain/user. So we've removed these two blocks entirely. We've moved a lot of the other ones around. We're keeping site branding at the top. Let's save this and see how things look. So this is quite a bit better. Our Drupal guitar fans is a little bit messed up. We might want to do some styling or something here with that. I'm not going to get too deep into that right now, but that's something that we would want to take a look at. Our menu looks pretty nice up here. And here's the slideshow that we're going to take a look at how to customize that in just a second. Here's the main portion of our page. Here's our footer menu. There's a little bit of weirdness going on here that we would also want to take a look at, but a lot of this is going to be site specific. You're going to want to take a look at the CSS files and things like that. It's often very helpful to use your browser's developer tools. A lot of them come with it. We can go to more tools, click on developer tools. It's very similar in Firefox. And then usually you can do something like this and click on the selection tool and go around here and figure out what exactly is going on right here. It's looking for some sort of logo, apparently, that we don't have right now. So we could remove that by editing the theme if we want to, or we could move this to a different block region altogether if you're not comfortable doing that. So we have this slideshow that looks nice but doesn't really fit our site. So we need a way to customize that. If we go to Appearance, we can click on Settings right here next to the theme, or we can go to Settings up top and then choose the theme that we want to play around with. Paxton is the one that we're using. And we have some options here. These right here are mostly for host information, shortcut icon settings. If we expand the Smart Blue settings, we have an option here for the front page slideshow. Let's expand that as well. Notice we can just remove this entirely if we don't want it. That's very convenient, especially if we just want to stick with our fretboard or whatever splash image you were using at the beginning. Let's keep that. And we're not actually really going to make any changes here because a lot of themes, different themes are going to have far different settings from one another. Every theme treats settings in its own way. Some of them may be similar, but there's no guarantee that there's going to be any consistency from one theme's settings to another. So just keep in mind that you want to look at the settings page and expand everything and see what you can play around with. Notice for the slides, for each individual slide, we can change the title of that slide, and then we can change the message that appears in that slide. We can also change, in this theme, we can also change the node that it links to when you click on it. We can change the image as well. In this theme, the image, let's go back to the front page, refers to this little image right here, not the background, but this little kind of like butterfly right here, and then the Twitter bird right here. We can change those. So let's go back to Appearance and the Paxton settings. Notice that nowhere here is an option to change the background. So that may be a problem, especially on a site like ours, if we want to keep this slideshow that the theme comes with and we don't want to create our own. That could be a problem. Usually this is pretty easy to fix. We can pull up our developer tools again. Again, this will be a little bit different for whatever browser you're using. Grab our selection tool and click on the background. And usually you have to do a little bit of navigating or a little bit of browsing around on your own. If we don't see anything with a background image over here, we're going to want to go a little bit higher in the HTML hierarchy. Let's look at slider wrapper and see if that's where it is. No, it's not quite there. Here we go. In the div with the ID DA slider, we have a background rule that points to the URL right here on our site, which is the location of an image that the theme installs on your site when you install the theme. So we could even open this link in a new tab to take a look at the image itself. So this location right here, our domain/themes/paxton/images/slider-ny2.jpg, is what this theme currently uses to grab an image for this background. So once we know that, all we would have to do to change the background image is to come up with a background image of our own and upload that to this location with this file name. Then the theme will be grabbing that new image and it'll be using it instead. Keep in mind that anytime you edit a theme itself, technically the best way to do so is to create a sub-theme, but that's a bit outside the scope of this tutorial. In many cases, even though it's not really advised, it is okay to edit a theme directly, such as to add our own custom background image here. However, if you do so, it's extremely important that you keep backups of your theme files, and especially the parts of it that you customized, because whenever this theme comes out with an update, as soon as you perform that update, you're going to lose all of your changes, and you'll have to reinsert them manually if you don't have all of the code and all of the files saved. So that's all for this basic Drupal 8 site build tutorial. With this information, you should now have a solid grasp of the basics of building sites with Drupal 8.